Welcome to another weekly Forexcast. All right, so I'm going to be covering some potential setups for the week. All right, starting with the dollar index last week, we had some nice moves on the dollar. All right, we caught some corrective moves with the corrective sell that came in. All right, and with today being the first of the month, we'll be able to see how some of these monthly candles closed and what can we look for the coming weeks. All right, for those longer directional moves. So starting with the dollar index, we can see we've been following this, and we see when price made this big bullish engulfing here on the monthly. All right, we were anticipating price to continue up from there with the buyers being in control. So price did have a deeper rise into this level before now we see that correction happening. All right. So if we go down to the weekly, on the weekly, we see we got a nice bearish engulfing candlestick. So that's showing us that the sellers are still in control of this market right now. All right, whether it's corrective or not, the sellers as of right now are still in control. And price pulled right into this minor level of supply and respected it. All right, so what I would expect is I would look for, the smaller time frames, like, we can go down to the daily, we can go down to the 4 hour, we can see price give us a correction before any more potential downside. Because we see we had a big sell-off from this level. All right, we broke out of that channel and we had a nice corrective move, continuation to the downside. All right, so now with this, the dollar could correct some. We could see some type of corrective move happen first before we get any continued moves to the downside. All right. Now, looking at GJ is one of the top on my watch list this week. And we can see, if we look at the weekly, or even a monthly, we can see how the monthly closed. So the monthly spread out, price is respecting this big supply level that we see here to the left. All right, big sellers, big bearish pressure from that level. All right, respecting here. Now, if we go down to the weekly chart, price respected, had a big pull down. It respected this demand level to the left and gave us a pull back up. All right, so if we look at this weekly candle that just closed, a nice shooting star, type pin bar type projection from a level of structure. Because if we go down to the daily chart, we could clearly see the price. You see, I have these lower highs and lower lows. We can clearly see price has been in a downtrend on the daily. All right, so now price is back into a previous structure level of lower high, where price can potentially respect to the downside. All right, so now looking at the daily, we got a nice, bearish pin bar type projection. All right, and then this daily candle also closed a nice bearish rejection. So this is what I'm looking for. If price can continue to break structure, I will expect price to give us a continued move to the downside. Because really, if I draw a trend line basically from like this higher low to this structure, price is beginning to break down now, actually. So I am expecting this to continue to sell down. I am looking for this. If this continues to break structure down right here, I would say catch those pullbacks, opportunities for continued moves to the downside. Looking at how the daily is, I'm expecting this to be the top, right? Top potential could be looked at as like a double top, but or potential lower high on the smaller time frame. But I am expecting this to continue to roll over. You can catch those pullback opportunities and continue to catch it down. All right, this could potentially come all the way back down here. All right, but at least you can catch some nice pips within here. Looking at USDCAD. So USDCAD, if we look at the monthly, same thing as the dollar, we had a nice respect of this big demand level with a bullish engulfing here on the monthly. All right, so when I saw that at this level anyways, being a major demand level, I was expecting price to have a bullish reaction. We got that after that bullish engulfing on a monthly, sign that the buyers are still in control. Price had an even bigger move to the upside. All right, now looking at how this monthly candle just closed, a lot of wick rejection from there. All right. So we see now price is correcting from that big impulsive move. We see on the weekly, this weekly candle closed a shooting star. But seeing that on the weekly, say it's Sunday now, we're looking at new weekly closes. Seeing that, you could have expected USDCAD most likely to continue to roll over from there. And that's what's happening now. So if we go down to let's say the daily chart, boom, price had a big break. Now we zoom out, we see where we're at. This is a level of supply or level of resistance structure. All right, price did break above it, but normally if I'm looking for a price to continue after a break above structure like that, I would need to see price come down here and hold support. All right, but it didn't do that. It came right back, had a nice impulsive close right back below that level, showing that that was a false breakout. And the price gave a slight pullback and then boom, continuing down, also breaking this daily trend line I have. So what I'm expecting this week, and I'm expecting more downside on USDCAD, we could get, some pullback first, something like this. All right, price could correct, like a bearish flag correction or something like that, so I would say let price correct. On this pullback, I believe we will be setting up for those continuation moves to the downside, down towards these structure levels, support levels to the left, down towards 1.23. All right, maybe come back and retest previous structure low somewhere in here. So I believe a retest at least around 253 or higher will be where I'll start looking for potential moves to the downside. You can even continuation. You can take your fib from that swing high to lower high to this low. All right, anywhere between a 50 to a 61.8 pullback will be nice. All right, before you look for those continuation moves down. All right, so I would like to see how the daily candle close tomorrow on Monday and then go from there. All right, because this daily candle could be the corrective candle before we get that continuation move to the downside. GU. So GU is actually, if we look at this, if we look at the monthly, so price respected on a monthly from this major level of supply. All right, we had big selling pressure, came up here, printed like a railroad pattern, all right, which is a nice indication of bearish reversal. And it continued to the downside from there. Now, this last month candle did close like a bullish pin bar, which could typically be a sign of corrective moves or more move to the upside. But I'm still playing it by price action, because even when you look when price came down here, it wicked through on a weekly, printed this pin bar, and then gave it. Now we got that bullish engulfing there on the weekly. All right, so for me, it could still potentially give more move to the upside, but it also could be setting up for a potential sell-off. Because overall, you can see on the daily, we've been in this downtrend from the supply level, big impulsive break, pullback, lower high, correction down, pullback again, continuation down. So now we just have a deeper correction up. But overall, I believe the bigger moves are to the downside right now. So right here with this daily, this looking like a tweezer top right here, actually, somewhat like a tweezer top. So that could be a potential sell indication, or that selling pressure could potentially be coming in. So in order for me to look for a sell on something like this on GU, I would take this trend line from here, draw through lower high, 0.2. All right. And then if this continues to just break down below structure, all right, I would say look for those pullbacks, maybe retest, and look for those continuations down. So I would need to see, price give firm break back below this structure. With that, catch those pullback opportunities and take it down further. UJ. So UJ, we caught some nice sales in our Discord, on the private Discord. If we look at this on the monthly, so price came up to the supply level here on the monthly. You see you had a nice bearish rejection from that supply level. So now if we look down on the weekly price had a nice bearish rejection, bearish engulfing rejection from that on the weekly. So it had a breakdown. This was the pullback, and this was that continuation move that we're getting now. All right, so we caught this. This is actually still active in the private Discord. So I would say adjust your stop, because I believe this could still potentially move to the downside. If you look at this here, price is creating downward trend structure right here on this retest. All right, you can see got the high here, right? Price broke down here. This is a pullback, lower high, continuation move. So I believe this could be setting up to continue. All right, this was the breakdown of this counter trend line flag breakdown. This was the pullback opportunity for more sales and the continuation. So right now, it's at a level where it could just continue to go. All right, so I would say watch for that. I will expect price to stay below this lower high. I'm still looking for this to respect and give more move to the downside. All right, looking at the daily, this breaks past, let's say around this low right here, which is around 119.15 or somewhere around there, this could come back into these levels, support levels, demand levels down here, roughly around 108.7-ish type area. Real USD. So real USD is actually a nice buy that we caught. We caught 100 pips on this in our private Discord. And with this, we can see that, look on the weekly. First, let's look at the monthly. So the monthly, now this is just a top down. Okay, what can we potentially get? I understand if I'm looking to the left, price had a nice rejection, basically from this supply level up here. All right, looking to the left, had a nice rejection from this level of supply. All right, respected here, came up again, respected again. So we can see that monthly candle closed bearish engulfing, which is a sign that the sellers are in control to push down further. So it gave you a deeper push down. Now this monthly candle just closed with like a pin bar rejection. So that could be an indication that we could see some type of deeper correction before you get any continuation moves to the downside. All right, that could possibly still happen. So looking at the weekly, now the weekly close bullish engulfing. Usually that's a sign that the buyers are still in control. We could potentially see a deeper move up. All right. But before you get that, seeing that that's on a weekly chart, you probably would get some type of pullback that happens first. All right. You see here on the daily price, pull down and finally give it that impulsive move up. So with the impulse, after an impulse, you can expect some type of correction and then a continuation move. So I would say we could possibly get something like that on EU. Looking at this, this will be the low, like around here is our low. This will be our higher low. All right. So we could possibly maybe get some type of corrective move to down here, possibly forming another higher low before we get a move up. Yeah. So I would say let price correct. And on this correction, you could potentially see price possibly respect for a continued move up. That's if the dollar continues to, if the dollar corrects and continues that selling pressure that goes in line with the bearish engulfing on the weekly, then you will see EU likely trade in line with that, showing, because this pumped to go along with the weakness of the dollar. All right. So if the dollar is selling off heavy, it's likely you're going to see EU giving you nice buys. All right. All USD also it's been in a downtrend, man. Like if you look at this on a month from the monthly, even a monthly, the monthly is still real bearish. Respected these big supply levels up here. By looking to the left, you always look left to go right. You see here, this big monthly candle right here, big bearish pressure. So it's showing no signs of buys for me right now. All right. And price had a nice strong close below that 0.74 psychological level that I was expecting us to hit. All right. So we actually had a nice break below that. And look what happened. Price broke below here. Clear downtrend still in play from these lower highs to lower high, right? Price breaking structure levels, retest continuation, right? And then you see right here, broke below here, this structure level, retested there and rejected. So now we see here on the daily chart, we got a nice bearish engulfing. That's usually a sign that the sellers are still in control. So my bias on this is still bearish. All right. So I believe any pullback here would be just most likely a correction to continue down. Okay. So I would say the first thing I would look for is I would look for correction opportunities for more sales potentially. All right. And I believe this had more to do with the weakness of Australian dollar. All right. Because all has been weak. All has been weak. So I think that was more so of all weakness than like dollar strength, because the dollar has been correcting off. All right. So I would say see how that react. We'll see how that react on the pullback. See if we want to stay below that high. Because something like this on this retest, a price retested this structure. Could have been on the 1 hour. You see, boom, price come back to this level, respects, give you a rejection. You see a nice bearish engulfing here. Go ahead and sell there on the rejection. Stop loss above, TPs to the downside. All right. So something like that. But now we will see how price respect. If we want to respect. Now, if it comes up here and don't respect and they say, oh, I want to pull up higher, then it's probably going to give us a deeper correction up before you get those bigger continuation moves to the downside. EURJPY. So EJ slowed up a bit after so much bearish pressure the last couple weeks. So we can see that price is still bearish, all right, from this supply level. Okay, so we had a nice sell-off here. So now if we look at this on the weekly, prices showed nice pin bar rejection candles. So that can indicate, you know, a correction or a move up. Right now is ranging right here. So if you look at this, even on a downtrend, I mean, on a daily, you can see it's clearly showing downtrend structure. All right, so you have to be, you know, you want to trade in line with structure, trade in line with the trend more often than not. So price is still at a level of structure where it could possibly respect and continue down. So before I look for a trade on this, I would need to see price show me like what is it trying to do right here? So right now it's ranging. And if it's ranging like this, it's setting up for a potential move. So this is a level where it could respect the structure and just continue down. That's what I would look for, but I would need to see price break down. So if this breaks down below structure, breaking this trend, I would say then catch like some type of pullback and then take it down further. Because if not, let's say it respects and it pumps up, and it could possibly give you a deeper move up, then maybe around here and give you that continuation down. All right, but if it didn't do that and it broke above here and came back and found support on the retest, then that's a sign that, you know, it's going higher. So we just have to react to what price shows us. All right, so I'm gonna sit on my hands and be patient with this one. Last one, GBPNZD. GBPNZD is still bullish. Like if we look at this, we're on like from this low, it's been showing bullish moves to the upside. If we look at this on the weekly still closed pretty bullish. All right. Look to the left where if it breaks above there, we could come to this next level of supply structure. All right. So what I would say is I'm still bullish overall on this, but with this type of price action, because when price broke above this, I was expecting this to give us a retest and then push towards that level of supply before any sell-off. But now with this type of price action, seeing these like shooting star rejection candles on the daily, it could give us a correction down before you get any move to the upside. So that's something I would look for. We'll also draw a trend line there as well. So with this, I would say like it started to sell off, like you see it came, showing that, okay, that probably was a false breakout because it had a nice closure back below structure. Now you see it's pulling back up. So with this correction, I'll see how price holds, because this could possibly give us a continuation move down, you know, before you get any more continued buys to the upside, which it could just be pulling back to create a higher low, you know, before giving you the continued pump to the supply level, where ultimately I believe you'll see a nice sell-off opportunity once it pushes up here anyways. All right, I believe it will respect that level if it pushes up here and get a nice sell-off. All right. So those are the current pairs I'm watching right now on my watch list. If anything changes, or if you're in a private Discord, I'll keep you up to date. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, if you're looking for that hands-on mentorship, hands-on community where you can learn, you can be able to earn as well at the same time. I share all of my trades that I look to take. We're transparent. All right, so you don't have to worry about, you know, anything funny or anything, or, you know, minus all the gimmicks and all the BS. We keep it real with everybody. We help people along the way. All right, so be sure to check out the fxwave.com, and I'll see you all on the next session.